I'm in the workshop. I don't know how clear this is going to be, but I'm just going to show you how I lubricate the rear bearing on the Amazon Dalian roaster, and I might try and show you the front bearing as well. I used to recommend Action Cam products, and I still do, but the company has changed hands, been bought by the same company that owns Ambersor. So for the front bearing, dry PTFE is still food safe, and this would be quite a good lubricant. However, for the rear bearing, ambergris by Ambersor, which is part of the same company that used to make Action Can dry PTFE, they make ambergris FG2. NSF H1 high temperature bearing grease up to 220 should be fine. Will do for the rear bearing, and I think will also do a pretty good job on the front bearing as well. So you could just buy this one product. I like the dry PTFE because there was nothing could even drip within the beans, but it's not quite as high a temperature as this. So to lubricate the rear bearing, I've undone 12 machine screws. Yeah, there's 2 here, 2 at the back, 4 at each end, and then this shroud just lifts away, and we'll put that somewhere safe. And now you can see the rear bearing, and that's visible now here, and here is the grease nipple. It is a roller race bearing, and to grease it I've got an old vintage grease gun. It's a Limit grease gun. It's about 70 years old. It's got like a half cup in here. It just goes on the grease nipple, very simple on this. It just pushes on and you just pump. And you keep pumping and you will see, you will possibly see grease coming out of the bearing, and then you know that you've definitely got enough in. A quick wipe round. Now you don't have to do this very often. Every 6 months, every year. Depends how much you use the roaster, really. I haven't done this for a while now, so I'm just going to wipe this round, get some of the old grease away. What happens if you use the wrong greases in here? It'll sort of carbonise up, they'll harden or they'll melt and reach what they call the dropping point, and we'll just pump a bit more in. So it's difficult with the camera in the way. And the grease is like a little bit thicker than Vaseline. It's white. It's quite a nice consistency. And we'll try and pump a bit more in. Really, I would have someone support the fact. There we go. Now, if you look at the bearing housing, I just wanted to make sure, because I hadn't primed this. Can you see that the grease has actually exited around the edges of the bearing? So it's definitely got the grease in. This one hasn't been done for a while. What I use now is paper, and I just wanted to make sure you don't need to see this much exit out, but I haven't used this grease before, and I didn't know how it was going to react with the grease gun. So don't get it on the belt, but get off any excess from around the bearing. I'm going to do that now. It's food safe, so that's good. And like I say, it's silicon and then PTFE enhanced, so you really don't want to get this on your dry belt. Okay, let's go. Last bit back here. In fact, you could hook your belt off if you want to get it right out of the way. There we go. Let's hook the dry belt off. And give it a wipe round, and that's got any excess grease off the outside. The bearing's definitely absolutely full. And that now will be good for probably a year. So what I'm going to do now is pop the belt back on. While I've got the roaster open, the belts are actually I'm right on mower belt that I use. I'll show you the belt. This is a brand new belt, and this is an old belt. And as you can see, the old belt's still in good condition. It's possibly a little bit loose than the new belt, but it's still pretty good. And this has been nearly 4 years of usage. It's done 700, 800 kilo of roasting. No problem at all. I'm just going to put the belt back, just hook it on the bottom sprocket. Bring it round, mind your fingers, just turn it on, just like putting on a bicycle chain. And there we go. Now the belts should have a little bit of slack. You don't want them too tight, otherwise you're pulling the bearing out of position. Okay, and that's good. And we'll do the front bearing now. The front bearing is under this cap. Okay, and a lot of people think, well, it's meant to be self-lubricating, and I've had some people spin the drum without the bearing mounted in the cap, and I've got to find the right size to remove it. It's just 3 screws, and the actual bearing is the inside of the cap. Let's get these out. So this is something you can do a bit more often. Get this out. Now these screws don't have to be on terrifically tight, but you also don't want the cap becoming loose, because that cap is actually the outer part of the bearing. So it needs to be located reasonably tight into the roaster. Don't over tighten these screws, whatever you do. Just make sure they're nipped up. There's wire in the way. Found a couple of wire. Okay. Now this cap simply pulls off. Okay. And in here is a bronze bearing. So it's a soft lubricating bearing. And there's the shaft. Now what we're going to do, we'll wipe these down so you can have a look. I'll just get some paper. Excuse me. So we'll wipe this, we'll just rotate by hand gently. Now the shaft will stay just above the front plate, but you don't want to run it at all like this. You just rotate it for cleaning, because it's this hole, the shaft goes into this bush, and this is held away from the front plate so it doesn't score the shaft. We're going to wipe in here. You can inspect the shaft while you do this. You can have a little wipe around to get out any old lubricant. Now, you could use dry PTFE, but I think Ambergris FG2 is actually going to be a very good product to do the lubrication. So I'm just going to do that. I just need a tiny wooden spatula to do it. The cap just comes off the top of the tube, and you can reach in and grab the product. I've got a little wooden coffee spatula here. I'm just going to grab a tiniest bit of grease. You really don't need much, just the tiniest bit. I'm going to lubricate within the cap, just with the wooden piece. And then I'm going to put just a touch on the shaft here, just this way. Now this is all NSF1 food safe, 220 degrees C. Put a little bit on the end as well. That way, if it ever does find its way out, it will continue to add a bit of lubrication. Then I'm going to get the cap, place the cap on. Now as you can see, the lubricant actually provides some pressure, and it's acting like a spring, so it's quite a close fit. And what we want is to get that shaft located nicely. There's a sort of raised circular inner section there that has to fit in a circular depression here. Okay, and that has to fit, and that guarantees also that the shaft is central. So what we're going to do is pop the screws back. And I don't know if you can see, but the best way to screw this back, I'm going to push this thermocouple out of the way, it's irritating me. The best way to screw this back is not to get each screw completely tight, but get each screw started and then work your way around, gradually tightening them up. Now I'm conscious I may not have shown this very clearly. This is the front bearing cap, and this is the front plate of the roaster. This bearing cap is completely flush with the front plate. There mustn't be any gap, it's got to be flat to the front plate. If there's any significant gap, you've got it in wrong. And the other thing is, of course, you'll want to put the cap on the same way it came off. You will find the holes tend to only line up one way. They almost line up in all directions, but actually there's one way in which this lines up perfectly, and you may even want to mark the 12 o'clock position before you put it back on. Just to make sure you get it on the same way it was in the factory. Can you see it's totally flush to the front plate? And you can just spin this round, you'll feel it pop in there, get completely flush, and make sure all the holes are the best lined up they can be. If you find that two holes are good and one's out, turn it round until you get the best alignment. And after you run the roaster, after you warm it up, the very first time you've lubricated this, after the roaster's warmed up, just double check these, and at the end of the first day's roast, well, during the first day's roasting, after doing that, just double check that this is correctly hung. Now what I'm going to do is plug the roaster in. Obviously be very careful. I'm simply going to have just the pulley on, everything else is off, just the pulley. Check there's nothing been left in the way, and there we go. And the roaster's now running and spinning, and just check there's no unusual noises from the roaster. And that's excellent. I'm just going to just collect up a bit more grease from that back bearing on the spatula. And that's it. That's how you lubricate the roaster and keep it going for many, many years. While I'm here, I thought I'd take a look at my fan because I haven't cleaned that in a while. So there's just 4 screws here on the chaff fan. Obviously the roaster must be unplugged, and then the whole assembly just lifts out. And there's the chaff fan. It's just a squirrel cage fan. It's not too bad, but now I've got it open, I'm going to give it a brush and a clean. I have an air line I can use for cleaning it, but I can also give it a brush and a clean. Okay, and she's all done. It's just a few minutes work with a soft paint brush, brush from the outside in and the inside out, and a vacuum cleaner. And she's nice and clean now, and she'll be good for me probably another 6 months to a year because of the way I use the roaster and the way I use airflow. Doesn't tend to get very dirty. And again, before you replace this, just check inside. And if you need to, give it a brush round. In fact, I'm going to give it a little vacuum out in the top. There's not. And then present the fan back on the unit. Check it's spinning freely. In the same position that you took it off. I think it's always a good idea. Place these things in broadly the same position. Start these screws off, and make a mental note to get a set of hex bolts for it. But I do think they'll be better. forget, make sure it's tight. Plug the roaster in, which we'll do. And this time, check your fan runs. So that's the camera. What we'll do, switch the roaster on, and we won't run the pulley, just the fan. And that's running fine. It's blowing nicely. Maybe it was blowing pretty good before. It'll obviously extract a bit more air now. And one thing to be prepared for, it may just change the air settings you might have got used to using a little bit.